Well, we all know the situation with last week, that debacle, that abomination of a show. This week, I thought it was an improvement. I did think it was an improvement. Now, that's not saying much because last week sucked so bad. Do any of you guys ever, like, can you sense when a show is like pre-taped? Because I can sense stuff like that, and I hate that feeling. I really, really hate that feeling. That's one of the reasons why Smackdown hardly ever ranks over Raw for me, because every time that I watch Smackdown, I get that feeling that the show is taped. Like, even if they don't tell me, oh, this show is live or this show is taped, if I watch a show, I can feel. It's just some feeling. It's unexplainable, but I can feel whether a show is live or taped. With this past episode of Raw, I didn't get too much of that feeling. So I guess that was a success. They did their best to, put on a good show, because if you guys notice, like, when WWE goes over to England and they do episodes of Raw and they tape the shows, they call it in. Like, you can tell, like, they put like 50% effort into shows, like, over in England when they have to tape the shows and things like that. This week was probably like a 75. It wasn't exactly 100, but then again, it wasn't 50. So a 75, that's still a passing grade. That's like a C. So yeah, Raw, they get a passing grade from me this week. SmackDown ratings are going up and up. I would say part of that is due to Mark Henry, and I would say part of that is also due to the whole Super Show thing, because I mentioned this on Pro Wrestling Talk Radio. WWE, they need to find some kind of way to use this whole Super Show thing. Like, I didn't like how they were using it when they would put people like Randy Orton in matches with Heath Slater. Like, what the hell does that do? What the hell is the point of Randy Orton being in a match with Heath Slater? That does nothing at all. But I specifically said they need to find a way to start advancing angles from SmackDown on Monday Night Raw, so those people watching Monday Night Raw feel that they have a reason to start watching SmackDown. And that's happening. I think that they did great this past episode of Raw, where they had that 6-man tag match, and they had Christian running off and Sheamus chasing after him, so he's running off to SmackDown, and I guess we're supposed to follow right after. Then you had the same thing happening with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. So I think that they're using this whole Super Show thing in a great way, and it's, bearing results. As soon as I saw John Morrison on the screen on Monday, I'm like, I don't give a damn what the match is. I don't give a damn what happens in this match. I just know the end result is going to be John Morrison with his back on the mat getting pinned. And what happened? Everybody else ran off of the damn match, and then it was down to Mark Henry, the World Heavyweight Champion, and John Morrison. So if I didn't think he was getting his ass whooped before, when he's the only one in the ring with Mark Henry, he's getting his ass whooped. Like, no doubts at all, and bam, it happened. But that was a pretty cool way that the match ended, with that little movement that Mark Henry did, throwing John Morrison up in the air and then doing the World's Strongest Slam. Like, I could have swore I heard John Morrison's back crack. Like, that's how big that impact was. That impacted his back crashing down on the mat. That was crazy. I'm a big fan of John Morrison, but like I described him on Pro Wrestling Talk Radio, I believe, John Morrison is like a puppy, a lost puppy. Like, the puppy ran away from home, and at one point you were standing at the door waiting on the puppy, and you were just so concerned, and then as time rolled on, you're just like, forget it. Hell, if the puppy comes back, cool. If he doesn't, cool, I'm moving on with my life. That's basically how I feel about John Morrison. If he gets a push, great, but if he doesn't, hey, he can't. Well, I was about to say he can't get much lower than where he is now, but I'm pretty sure WWE will find a way. They'll find a way. They always do. Speaking of Kelly and Eve and Beth Phoenix and Natalia, Does anybody else get the sense that WWE thinks that they only have 4 fucking divas out of the whole company? Like, for the last few months, that is all that we have seen. Beth Phoenix, Kelly, Eve, Natalia. I'm like, damn. Like, and then when I saw the Bella Twins on Raw, I'm like, okay, so they do realize that they have more divas on the roster. But then again, if you look back to before all of this stuff happened with the Divas of Salvation, we were in the same position back then. It was all the Bella Twins and Eve and Kelly. And I know the only reason why the Bella Twins got back on TV is because they heard the Muppets were hosting Raw on Halloween. So, you know them and how they get with the guest host. So they're just establishing themselves back so they can, trick, I guess. Trick and treat on Halloween. So there you go. Who's your favorite tag team? Awesome Truth, of course. Speaking of Awesome Truth, I think at this point they should stop doing that whole little rap entrance. I think they've evolved past that, because it was like funny when they first did it the first couple of times, but I think at this point, when I look at the Miz and R-Truth, I don't want to laugh. I want to look at them like serious competitors, because if you look at everything that they've done, these last couple of months with being fired and coming back in the way that they did at Hell in a Cell, they've worked hard to establish themselves as serious competitors. And then when you look at them and that entrance, it makes them look like jokes. Like, if you go back and look at this last episode of Monday Night Raw and look at how CM Punk was like, what the fuck is going on here? So it's kind of like they took 2 steps forward in their evolution as characters, and then they're taking 1 step back by continuing to have that entrance. I think they should, change it over to something else, ditch that, and move on, continue to grow. It's kind of holding them back from growing. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but while I was watching Monday Night Raw, did you guys see that little video that they ran for it was like a promo for Vengeance? It had it was talking about Alberto Del Rio and John Cena. It said something like, will Alberto Del Rio finally defeat John Cena in a one-on-one match, or will John Cena win the WWE Championship again? And the way that they said it, it sounded like they were like depressed. Like they were like, oh, will John Cena win the championship again? And I'm like, damn, even the announcers and the commercials are depressed when John Cena wins championships. Like, now they know how millions of people across the whole damn world feel when they see John Cena win a world championship.